Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? And welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. My name is TJ Jones. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Well, Who Dat Nation, the Saints came into the Week 17 game against the Carolina Panthers, and a lot of people thought that this team didn't have much to play for. And to be honest with you, they played like it.
Got all that. And now Allen going deep for Curtis Samuel. Makes the catch for a Panthers touchdown. Allen connected with Samuel, 53 yards.
That's right. The New Orleans Saints lose to the Carolina Panthers in Week 17 by a score of 33-14. To say that the New Orleans Saints player were unenthused about this game would be an understatement. After the game, Coach Sean Payton talked a little bit about his uninspired team.
We didn't play well. So we can put our own little stamp on this and say, well, listen, it starts with me, and we'll get the corrections made. But we didn't play well. Credit Carolina. They came ready to play. It wasn't good. Wasn't good. We didn't get any pressure on the quarterback. We didn't tackle well. Holding the receivers. Pick something. You know, you can run fits weren't good. It starts with, that's our job, though. That's the business we're in. That's the business we're in, right? You can't just turn it on and off and decide when you want to on your terms. It's not like that. This game never has been and never will be. It was from the get-go, it was obvious, you know? And so you take that personally as a coach, and, you know, it's disappointing. We played poorly. We played poorly.
Strong words from Coach Sean Payton. Well, let's go ahead and talk about this game. The Saints lose to the Carolina Panthers once again, 33-14. They didn't play Cam Newton. No, they didn't play against Luke Kuechly. They didn't play against Thomas Davis. None of these guys. All of these guys set out, and for the most part, even though Christian McCaffrey came into the game, he only played maybe like 5 or 6 snaps. The Saints secondary, starting secondary, for the most part, were getting absolutely shredded by a guy named Kyle Allen. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. As much college football as I watch, as much SEC football as I watch, I never even heard of Kyle Allen. I had to go to Wikipedia to find out who this guy was. Here you see a guy who was on the practice squad at the beginning of the season for the Carolina Panthers. This guy got signed and cut, signed and cut, signed and cut. And then all of a sudden, Cam Newton goes out with a shoulder injury, and they play backup quarterback Taylor Heineke. The Carolina Panthers lose Taylor Heineke, and he's out for the season, and then they re-sign Kyle Allen. And this guy comes out here, and he looks like the second coming of Joe Montana. You know, I never understood for the life of me, why is it that the New Orleans Saints, every single time they play against a quarterback that nobody has ever heard of, they make him look like a superstar? I mean, I just don't understand it. I mean, this wasn't just some backup defense they were playing against. They were playing against, for the most part, the Saints starting defense. I mean, I looked at Marshawn Lattimore get smoked down the sideline by DJ Moore. I'm seeing Eli Apple out there getting worked by Curtis Samuel. I mean, these guys were getting absolutely shredded like cheese out there, man. I mean, this was embarrassing. Look, I understand what it all means, okay? I understand that you all have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I understand that you got your first round bye, and that's good. Those are the goals that you set for yourself. Most teams, their goal is to win the division, number 1, get home field advantage, number 2, and win the Super Bowl, number 3. But you still got to go out here and play. And the defense played like they didn't want to get hurt. This looked like a preseason game. And I got to be honest with you. Going into the postseason, you have to play your best football. I'll give you an example. The Chicago Bears had to play the Minnesota Vikings. If the Chicago Bears beat the Minnesota Vikings and the Rams slip up and lose to the 49ers, then they can get the number 2 seed. These two teams were playing at the same time, the Los Angeles Rams and the Chicago Bears. The Los Angeles Rams were beating the brakes off the San Francisco 49ers, and the game wasn't even close. But did head coach Matt Nagy take his defense out of the game? Did he take his starters out of the game? Absolutely not. And did this prevent them from playing hard? No. These guys still went out there and they beat the Minnesota Vikings decisively, man. That is what good teams do. You talking about not having anything to play for? Look, I don't agree with that. Anytime that you have an opportunity to win a football game, you have something to play for. And the New Orleans Saints, I'm very disappointed at the effort that these guys put forth on defense, man. Look, I can understand once again that you didn't want to get anybody hurt, but at the same time, you got to put forth the effort. But let's just go ahead and break down this game. Once again, you had Kyle Allen, a person that I'm pretty sure nobody really ever heard of. Kyle Allen went 16 of 27 for 228 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, this guy was out here wheeling and dealing out there, man. I mean, this guy was really looking like a starting quarterback out there against the Saints defense. And it was embarrassing, man. But, I mean, there was some bright spots with the New Orleans Saints in this game. I mean, Dwayne Washington, the running back, third-string running back, he had 11 carries for 108 yards. You like to see the young guys that you really don't know that much about come and step up in games. So you know that if somebody was to go down, they can put them in and they still can contribute. I seen Traquan Smith catch a touchdown, and I seen Teddy Bridgewater play for the first time in 2 years. Now, this right here, somebody's probably going to get mad at me, but it is what it is. I think that the people that were going at Teddy Bridgewater saying that he sucks, saying that he's not good, I think that these people right here need to get their NFL knowledge card revoked, okay? Because if you think that Teddy Bridgewater is a terrible quarterback just looking at this game, you know zero about football. You know absolutely nothing about football. The Saints started 4 backup offensive line in this game. 2 guys in which was signed off the street on Wednesday. So do you expect Teddy Bridgewater to have a star-studded performance with 2 brand new offensive linemen and 2 backup offensive linemen that came off the practice squad? If you think that's the case, I must tell you, you know zero about football. I've seen some people talking about the Saints need to play Drew Brees in the second half. Once again, if you think that the Saints, because they were losing a Week 17 game where they have basically everything wrapped up, if you think that they just need to tell Drew Brees, who wasn't even dressed, to go to the locker room, put a uniform on, all so you can dance around your living room because the Saints come back in a game that don't mean little to anything at all, I must say once again, you know zero about football. Look, man, the offensive line is important. I don't think people understand that, maybe because they're not as flashy as a wide receiver. They ain't slashing and juking people and making people miss like a running back. But if you don't have an offensive line, a credible offensive line, I don't care if you Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, you are not going to complete passes at an accurate pace. It just ain't happening, okay? And last but not least, my all-time favorite, people talking about Taysom Hill. Put Taysom Hill in the game. Put Taysom Hill in the game. He can score some points. Man, what have you seen out of Taysom Hill that tells you that he is a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater? Maybe it's because he does the read option and he gets 10 yards or he gets 5 yards. Or maybe it's just the fact that they throw him the ball out the backfield every now and then. Now, Taysom Hill is a good football player, but doing all of these things that he does not equate to being a good quarterback. It is so easy for us to forget things, right? It's so easy for us to forget. That's why you have me. Do you remember in the preseason game when Taysom Hill went up against the Arizona Cardinals. You remember what Taysom Hill did? I do. Taysom Hill turned the ball over 5 times, okay? 5 times. Taysom Hill only threw 2 deep balls. One to Michael Thomas in the Minnesota Viking game on Sunday night, which was completed. And against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he threw a long bomb down the field that was picked off. Now, in between all of that, what makes you think that Taysom Hill would be a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater? And here's another one. If Taysom Hill was as good as people saying that he is, if people are saying that he needs to start over Teddy Bridgewater, why would the Saints trade one of their draft picks to get the services of Teddy Bridgewater? Look, man, I don't want to be in the business of discrediting people, but I just feel like sometimes we get so emotional because we're watching a game and the team is losing. Look, nobody wants the Saints to lose. I want the Saints to win every game. But we have to look at things objectively. And if you're not looking at things objectively, basically you're just looking foolish, man, if you don't understand what's going on. Everybody wants to be a head coach when the team losing. Oh, man, they need to do this. Oh, they need to start this guy. They need to run him more. They need to spread him out a little more. Everybody wants to be the armchair coach. Everybody, man, when the team loses. But I just need to tell people out there, just calm down, all right? Calm down. The Saints will not play like this in the divisional round of the playoffs. I guarantee you. They will not play like this at all. But back to the game. The Saints lose to the Carolina Panthers by a score of 33-14. The Carolina Panthers snapped their 7-game losing streak, and the New Orleans Saints await their next opponent in the divisional round. And I hope and I pray that it's the Dallas Cowboys. I hope and I pray that the Dallas Cowboys play the Saints in the divisional round, because I am so sick and I am so tired of these Dallas Cowboy fans talking about week 10. Oh, we beat the Saints. We better than the Saints. Oh, the Saints ain't ready for us. The Saints not ready for the Cowboys. Pretty please, oh God, let them come to the Superdome in the divisional round. There were so many mistakes in that game that the Saints wish they could have back, and I guarantee you that game will not, I repeat, will not be the same as it was in Arlington. The Saints will be ready. But whoever plays the Saints in the divisional round, I think that the Saints are going to get it done. Of course, when the divisional round of the playoffs comes around, yours truly will be doing a prediction. But this has been the State of the Saints podcast. Follow the State of the Saints podcast on YouTube. Go to youtube.com. Search the State of the Saints podcast. Also follow State of the Saints podcast on Twitter at SOTS Podcast 8. That's SOTS Podcast 8. And other episodes of the State of the Saints podcast are available on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.com. Till next time, all I have to say is, who dat?